It's that time again, you guys. Time to do a format analysis. Post YCS Dusseldorf, or should I say YCS Dusseldorf, because there were two YCSs, and it was crazy. So I got a couple pie charts that we're going to use. We're going to talk about it. First thing I'm going to say, I'm not really going to cover YCS Dusseldorf 2. Now, I know a lot of people were saying, have asked me why I don't really cover it as much. It was a much smaller event, and Sky Strikers were like 50% of the top cut, and then they ended up winning. There's nothing else really to say. There wasn't anything like super crazy. It was basically just Sky Strikers, Thunder Dragons, the usual suspects. Outside of that, I didn't really have much to say. I wanted to focus more on the bigger event. The bigger event was more important. So as we do for these videos, this is only the second one we've done, but you guys really like the first one, so of course we're continuing it. We're going to have the chart up here. And this is the top 64 breakdown. I'm actually going to provide this one as well as the top 32 breakdown. I'm going to have a link down below. I want you guys to visit this Facebook page. I believe it's pronounced Kaloncho Store. I'm probably butchering the name. I apologize, but they are amazing at providing these pie charts for us. Definitely check them out on Facebook. Give them a like, support them, whatever you got to do, because they make our job so much easier. But the top 64, you guys, we're going to get into it, and this is basically going to dictate what our meta currently is and what the meta was here at YCS Dusseldorf. So this is for YCS Dusseldorf 1. YCS Dusseldorf 2 I already talked about, so we're not going to talk about it for the rest of this video. So wow, it looks a lot different from YCS Chicago. Of course, we have a new front runner, and the deck is Solomon grade. 44% of the top 64 was Solomon grade. I'm not surprised. I'm going to be straight up honest. I'm not surprised. And the reason why I'm not surprised is this deck is readily available to anyone who wants to play it. They released it in a structure deck similar to Monarchs, and people ran with it. And the deck is not just a structure deck, you guys. The deck is very real. My entire locals has been taken over with Solomon Grades, and I mean, it's nuts. I was a full supporter of this because I felt like it's about time they give people who are on a budget the option to play competitive Yu-Gi-Oh!, and that's exactly what happened. You buy 3 of the structure decks. If you had some staples from before, put the deck together, you're good to go. This deck, extremely consistent. This deck, extremely powerful. You guys may think, is one negate really that powerful? Yeah, it is, because it can be a negate. It can be an interruption with rage and with you know, there are other in roars. I mean, the thing is, you can just disrupt the board, negate the board, pass back to your turn, and kill your opponent. I noticed that Fusion of Fire becoming one of the OTK cards that the opponent can play to just kill the opponent that turn is nuts. Amazing in the mirror match as well. Their fusion is nuts. And I feel like for the fact that this deck was readily available to anyone who wanted it, like I said, if you held on to staples from previous formats, which you should have, I always say you should have, you could just put the deck together real quick. And if you had been testing it prior to the release, you were very well versed. And I feel that's why there was 44% representation. I feel this will continue. Absolutely. I feel that you guys see here we're strikers at only 14%. Now, like I said, in YCS Dusseldorf 2, they were at the higher representation. They ended up winning, but that's completely neither here nor there. In the main big event with over 1,000 players, there was a huge decline in Sky Strikers, and the thing is that I feel, and I have noticed that a lot of Sky Striker players have shifted over to Solomon Grade. The reason is because while Sky Strikers is an amazing deck, it already struggles against Thunder Dragons. I'm not really sure like how good or how bad its matchup is with Solomon Grade, but I feel like a lot of the players who are playing Strikers switched over because Solomon Grade is just nuts. It can play a plethora of hand traps similar to Striker, and it can just do amazing things. So I feel we will definitely continue to see high representation of Solomon Grade, and that's all I gotta say about that deck. On to my babies, Thunder Dragons, 16%. I mean, yeah, I mean, deck was the second most represented in Top Cut. I really don't have much to say. The deck is insane. The combo build is still nuts. Hot Red Dragon, Zombie Stein, couple Colossus, Saryuja, still pretty broken going first. It will struggle going second, though. I feel that this deck has gone down in popularity because there's just so many hand traps, you guys. I actually got destroyed by Solomon Greats at locals. I got drolled. I got hit with other hand traps, and I mean, it really hurts. It really hurts. And Solomon Great, like I said, can play hand traps so easily. So I think Thunder Dragons is definitely still an amazing deck. I think it will definitely see more play, and I feel like it'll probably stick it around this mark just because I feel Salamangreat is so readily available and so much more budget friendly than Thunder Dragons that we'll probably see more Salamangreats than we will Thunder Dragons, but still an amazing deck. And I've already talked about Strikers. They're sitting in at 14%, the third most represented deck. They, I mean, they still do what they do. Widow Anchor is still a hell of a card. You know, multiple engages a turn is still a hell of a way to play Yu-Gi-Oh! And I think that we'll still see Sky Strikers. The deck is not dead, and I feel that the players that are loyal to the deck, that are very good with the deck, will find ways to keep innovating the deck to be able to keep up with Salamangreat, Thunder Dragons, and everything else. Now we have the small bit of this stuff, which is Danger, Orcus, Crusadia, Subterra, Dracos, oh, actually, no, we have 12% others. I don't even know what the hell those are, to be honest with you. I don't know what the 12% other decks are. Yeah, I don't know. I'm assuming that they were just stuff that isn't like Luna Lights or True Dracos or Subterra, Crusader, Dangers, any of that. The one thing it's not Altergeist. Again, I don't know, you guys, Altergeist. I think it's the side deck. I think the side deck has just killed people from really getting far with Altergeist, especially in Top Cut. They may do well, decent in Swiss, then as the rounds go on, they just get blown out. So it's pretty crazy. I'm assuming that the 12% is like decks like Trickstar, Cyber Dragons, I guess maybe Danger decks, the Danger Dragon deck we saw. I don't know if there's Gem Knights, there was Blue Eyes. There was definitely Blue Eyes. There was a top 64 Blue Eyes profile that's going around YouTube. So yeah, I guess that's in the others thing. I don't really know what to say because I can't give you guys exactly the breakdown of what those 12% other decks are, but very cool that we're seeing other decks besides what's represented here on the pie chart. Next, I mean, these 4 decks all had the same representation, which means I believe 3% would be what? Only 1 or 2 decks? I'm really bad at math. Except Yu-Gi-Oh! Math. I'm broken at Yu-Gi-Oh! Math. Like, when I'm doing attacks and all that stuff, you can ask my opponents, like, dude, how'd you do that math? I'm like, it's Yu-Gi-Oh! Man. Like, it's not like I'm in math class. It's Yu-Gi-Oh! But trying to do this math, I'm not so good at it. But, okay, so Danger Orcus ended up winning the event. Again, shout out to Tom Rose. You guys already know. You guys saw the finals. They both punted, and, you know, it is what it is. Salamangreat probably should have won the YCS, just saying. But, you know, things happen, and, yeah, Danger Orcus won. That's why the last video was why Danger Orcus won. I mean, I just told the truth. That's why it won, you know, amongst all the other reasons. I think now that, you know, Tom has won yet again with a deck like this, his teammate Ping Zhao, who also has almost won a YCS, has won a YCS back in the day, with Dino Rabbit. A lot of you don't know that. I remember that because I'm an old man, so I remember that. But I think we're going to see a lot more people trying out this deck. I think Ed first introducing the going second strategy with this deck was amazing, and I think we're going to see more representation of it going forward. I think people will innovate it and just want to be able to play the combos, because being able to play Orcus cards, Phantom Knight cards, Sky Blasters, Dangers, everything all in one, and just produce this crazy board going first or this OTK board going second, I think it's, again, like I said, a deck that can go first or second and produce win conditions is definitely a deck you want to play in this format. Crusadia Guard Dragons are broken. I think that deck is amazing. If I wasn't playing Thunders, I'd probably play a deck like that. I think that deck is amazing. I think it's so powerful. It just pushes through everything. It just puts up such a powerful board that it's definitely something we're going to see continue to be played. I think not enough people respect Crusadia cards, and they should, because Equimax can still kill you going second. Going first, they can create a board of negates that you won't get past. So pretty crazy. I think we'll definitely see more of that deck. 3% was Subterror. I mean, I think that deck is really good. I think Guru Control has unfortunately nudged Altergeist out of contention, and I say that because I think that the fact that they set up negates is very powerful. I think the fact that they just flip stuff down is broken too, because they just turn problematic monsters off, you know, before the opponent can link summon. I think that all their traps, their field spell, everything really sets them up strong with the deck. Guru was a hell of a card to come out, and especially being a common, it's more widely accessible. Pot of Indulgence is insane. I mean, this deck is literally like a hell of a stun deck, and I mean, it just really just out-resources the opponent. It just negates all their stuff, and the opponent's left with nothing, and then they just die. So I think we're going to keep seeing this deck top. A lot of people, you know, don't really, I guess, pay attention to that deck, and you should. Trap decks are real, you guys. They're a reason why Red Reboot is still in a lot of the side decks, Pregatop, stuff like that. We have the side deck tools, but I'm telling you, you don't open them and the deck goes off. It's really hard to combat against it, but definitely cool that Subterrors are still topping. True Draco, shout out to Slops. Yeah, True Draco, man. I mean, I guess that deck just doesn't want to die, and I know James won't let it die, but Draco is just a deck that, I mean, I don't know how its Salamangreat matchup is. I don't play the deck. I don't really know. I thought it had a horrible Thunder Dragon matchup, so I thought that was reason enough to just not play the deck, because like you can't pop the Colossus, it'll just protect itself. You can't search off Diagram. Like I really thought that even with all its draw cards, it still couldn't do much, but I am wrong, and I think True Draco is a deck that, you know, is budget friendly as well. You don't even need an extra deck. I feel it's just a stun deck, kind of similar to Subterrors that you might still see, so be prepared for it. But again, the deck falls to a lot of the things people have inside deck, but it's definitely a deck you should watch out for. And lastly, in the top 64 breakdown was Lunalight. So I guess there was one Lunalight, right? I guess one, yeah. Yeah, I mean, the deck's still good. The deck still does what it does. It still does the Azathoth combo. It still kills you with, was it Panther Dance or whatever the fusion is. It still kills you going second or whatever. So I think the deck will still see play. I think that even though people have switched to Solomon Greats, if you forget about decks like Lunalight, you'll definitely pay the price. But that's the top 64 breakdown. Those are my thoughts. And now we're going to go to the top 32. So top 32, you guys already know, basically Solomon Great went up. It went up to 53%. And yeah, I mean, what else can I say? Solomon Great is widely accessible, more budget friendly, and very good at what it does. So it made it to the finals. Deck's crazy, so we're going to still see it. And Sky Strikers actually nudged Thunder Dragons out as the second most represented deck. Yeah, I mean, like I said, people are still going to play Strikers. The deck is still good. I'm not saying the deck is bad. I feel that the deck has to learn to adapt, and I feel that good Striker players will continue to do that. So, like I said, we're definitely going to see more Strikers, and we're going to see about the same amount. Like, it's not as big as it was before, but it's definitely a deck you do not want to sleep on and not forget about, because if you do, they'll catch you by surprise. Widow Anchor, again, is a hell of a card. Thunder Dragons, like I said, combo deck is broken. 10% of the room, combo deck is broken. I guess 10% of the top 32 is what, 3 in top? 2 in top, 3 in top? I don't know. Bad at math, but I guess if it's 10% of 32, that's what, 3.2? So I don't know, something like that. But Thunder Dragons making the top as the third most represented deck in top 32. Not surprised. Like I said, the negates are pretty powerful. Colossus is still a hell of a monster. And then 6% others, so like those other decks, it wasn't Trickstar, so I was wrong. Because Trickstar got a top in here, but those other 6 decks, I don't know. I really don't know what they are. They weren't Blue Eyes. I know that deck didn't top, but I'm assuming it was that Danger Dragon deck and like some of the other decks that made it into top 32, top 16, etc., etc. So very cool that there's other decks, like I said, not listed here that are still doing well. The True Dracos hung in there. Again, shout out to Slops. This deck is, yeah, that's what I'm saying, man. Like, if it can make it all the way in to top 32, it bypassed 64 and made it in the top 32. I mean, the deck's still got to be doing something. Don't sleep on it. I mean, yeah, Thunder Dragons have a great matchup against it, but I mean, everything else just kind of pops all your background and just kind of just destroys all your monsters without even really doing anything. And it gets pluses off everything and draws a million cards with Card of Demise. So definitely a deck you don't want to sleep on. Trickstars, I mean, I don't know what version of Trickstars it was, but I know Trickstars do see a lot of representation. There's a lot of way to play this deck. You can play the Destrudo Marmor engine like Simo did. You can play the Artifact Sanctums and all that stuff like Bortle did. There's a lot you can do with Trickstars, and I mean, Candina is still a hell of a card. Light Stage is still a hell of a card. You know, Droll Reincarnation still exists. If you get Droll Reincarnated, you lose. So, unless you're Thunder Dragons and you open Broken. But, yeah, Droll Reincarnation is still a hell of a drug. And Droll is so powerful against any deck with Dangers that, I mean, Trickstars, you shouldn't be surprised that they're still topping. So, definitely not surprised there. Danger Orcus, again, the finals was, the one in top 32 was Tom Rose. Tom Rose won the whole event. Dark Warrior. So Dark Warrior was actually piloted by Dinka Boy. You guys should watch that deck profile. He's very, very smart beyond this game. He's like crazy, and that deck was nuts. That deck was very, very cool. It was a 60 card deck, you guys. You should definitely check out the profile on Lithium's channel to hear his card choices. It's a very short profile, but you'll get the idea of it. So not surprised by that at all. Any deck that man touches, I feel, will top because he's extremely smart with his card choices, and he's a very good player. So very cool. Dark Warrior still seeing representation as old is still seeing play outside of Noble Knights. The Subterrors made it in the top 32. Like I said, not surprised. Really good stun deck. Does a lot to counter the opponent. And yeah, I mean, you know, what are you going to do at that point? And overall, the thing we can take away from this is that Solomon Great, man, they came out swinging. I told you guys, they came out swinging the first week, and they're dominating the super competitive scene, and I'm not surprised by this at all. I welcome it. I think anybody that is able to play competitive Yu-Gi-Oh! Because of this deck, it's a good thing. I always encourage people to play. And overall, I think that it's great for the format. I think it's great that, decks can continue to do well. And, you know, we do have the UDS in Vegas coming up, so we will be doing another format analysis if anything really changes. I know that's not a YCS, but trust me, it's extremely competitive, as competitive as a YCS, so definitely don't rule it out. I will be going, for those of you that are going to Vegas, let me know down in the comments below. It'll be definitely great to see you guys and, you know, talk about the game and whatnot. But overall, I'm not surprised by the format. I think it's a pretty healthy format. And everyone's like, oh, well, there's dangers everywhere. Get used to it. I'm sorry. Shut up and get used to it. Like, that's the way this game is played. And some decks, like, don't even play dangers. Like, Sky Strikers are still doing well. These other decks are still doing well without dangers. So while I understand like 90% of the decks, they probably do play dangers, there's a reason. I mean, if Konami wants to give us free upstarts and bodies, like, why would you not play them? Like, seriously, why would you not play them? So overall, I think the format's pretty healthy. I think that we do have a lot of decks in top. And before you guys say, Slim, this format is not healthy, I mean, do you want a 2-deck format? Do you want a 3-deck format? Or do you want a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, like 10 plus decks in top? Because I like that. I like having diversity in the format. And yeah, overall, that's my format analysis. Let me know what you guys think down below. This will be the format analysis post YCS Dusseldorf. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to give it a thumbs up. Lets me know that you want to see more videos like this, and I'll definitely be bringing them to you after major events. So anyways, those are my thoughts. Let me know yours in the comments below, and I'll see you guys next time. Thank you for watching.